Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What Do You Say Anime. I'm your host, Peter, and on today's bonus episode, me and the J Factor himself will be reviewing the recently aired Jujutsu Kaisen Zero prequel movie that we saw in our theater experiences. So, Jay, thank you for joining me. You are my Jujutsu Kaisen expert, so I'm glad that you could join me. Um, I want to get your first impressions of the JJK movie and like your experience with like your theater, because a lot of people, this is one of the first couple movies that they've seen back since the pandemic, because in the United States we beat it. So just want to see like your thoughts. We're both the manga readers as well, so just like your thoughts on like the adaptation and all that good stuff.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Pete. I'm super excited to review this, honestly. So I read JJK Zero uh probably about a year and a half ago, like a little no, about a year ago, like right after the original run of the season ended, the first season. And basically, whenever the Demon Slayer movie came out, I was kind of like, if JJK gets a movie, they need to just go ahead and like it was sitting right there. Like this is the perfect thing to adapt, and they did adapt it. And honestly, from the first 5 minutes of the thing, I was pretty satisfied already. I was like, heck yeah. As for my theater experience, I went to a pretty like nice theater with like recliners and stuff like that. Got some Chinese buffet beforehand with some friends and the girlfriend, and that was fun. Um, had a pretty quiet theater experience, which was nice. No people, saying like "Eren Jaeger" or any shit like that. They were respectful of JJK, which is nice.
That is
And
nice.
I know that some people on Twitter were talking about like there were clips going around of people acting like a fool during certain scenes in JJK and talking about like hygiene and stuff like that. And honestly, I didn't experience any of the negativity. I think it's just Twitter inventing dudes to be mad at, as usual.
Yeah,
Um, I had a great time, honestly. Like, the only thing I will say is that I wish for the American release that they would have done something similar to like My Hero and other anime movies where they give you like a promotional booklet, a
yep.
little like maybe not volume zero necessarily, but maybe like the first chapter of volume zero, something like that. Because I noticed that in a lot of the overseas theaters, they had like Utah's ID card you could get. They had like booklets that had some really sick original art in them and everything. And yeah, I don't know. It's sad that we missed out on that in the States, I feel.
Yeah. Because I went to the Batman and I got like a promotional booklet too, and that was like opening day. So and I saw JJK on opening day too. So was really hoping for something like that as well. Just a little memento to like, hey, we saw like, because a lot of people just wait for this to be on like streaming services, or they'll pirate it off of Nine Anime or something like that. And what I saw so far in the release, JJK has made like 16 million. It was the number two movie this week, which is
Yeah.
impressive, and it's just showing that this is going to be the trend going forward. We're only going to get more and more anime movies, which is good because we get more content. But I think we're going to see like longer droughts too between series. Even I mean something like JJK where it's big enough, we're probably not going to have super drastic long downtime. But it's cool to see like we had shows like Shirobako was in like theaters, like stuff like that, where these kind of like lower tier, I should say lower tier, that's the wrong word, less popular anime are getting
Yeah.
content. And just seeing JJK in theaters, I don't know about you, but my theater was sold out. I was also at
Yeah,
one of those really
it
nice
was pretty
theaters as well.
close.
Yeah. I remember the first time I saw like a anime movie, I saw the Konosuba movie, and I was like, there's gonna be like three people here. And then I get into the theater and it's completely sold out. So it's
Yeah.
one of the great things about Minnesota is that the anime fan base is massive and the theaters are always sold out. My theater going experience was hilarious though, because I saw it on Thursday, dating back to my
Ooh.
Irish roots. That's St. Patrick's Day. So had a couple pops before going into the theater, and then I had a nice buddy of mine. He's like, "Hey, are you interested in taking an edible?" And I'm like, "You know what? I don't really do that, but I'm kind of drunk." So, this was a first of mine of going into a movie. I'd say like
Keyed. You're
not.
keyed, cross-faded.
I was
Like,
crossfade. I was kind of faded. Probably not good enough to drive, and also taking that. So that was a very interesting movie going experience. But I'm not gonna lie, I was vibing. The people that I was with were vibing, and the theater was vibing. So overall, it was
right.
like a fantastic time. It's one of the best movie going experiences I've seen. I think a lot of people, especially JJK, understand a lot of the references that happened because I think there's a few people that are probably coming into this blind without seeing season one. And it's just one of those cool experiences. Like, when Toto shows up for the first time, everyone's like, my brother, or something like that. You hear like the whispers throughout the crowd. It's like, yes, I'm with
Yeah,
you.
I
I'm with you, my
literally
brother.
went. I literally went like, yeah, when
Yeah.
Toto showed up.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It was just like a really good time. And I think you can tell, and we might talk about this later, but just the vibe of something like JJK compared to something like Mugen Train, where when I saw Mugen Train in theaters, I would say the average age of the theater was probably like 16. Where this, I would say the average age felt like 20s, the mid 20s.
Yeah,
So it felt like people like had like the respectfulness of being quiet in the theater, but at the same time understanding the hype moments where it's okay to like let go a little bit. And so that's
yeah,
just like what made JJK for me personally like a really great movie going experience. And I'm just glad that I could get out with my friends and see this work that MAPPA did.
yeah. And honestly, I'm so happy that it came out. Like, there was so little delay for it compared to like, I feel like Mugen Train, we waited like 6 months or something like that, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. And this was like
Three
three.
months, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Not
that's
too
pretty great,
not too
honestly.
bad. I'm trying to because I know there's definitely some movies that we had to wait a very long time for. I think Progressive was like 3 months as well, and then but then like the Violet Evergarden movie was like a year or so. It's hit or
Yeah.
miss depending on the franchise, but I mean something
If the
like
Yuri
that.
on Ice movie ever comes out, we'll be waiting like a
Oh,
decade or something for that,
I hope
probably.
that's a theatrical release in like the theaters. Like that
Yeah,
is one
that would be
thing that I
insane.
feel like I need like the sound. Just I need those big ass speakers going into me because
Honestly, I feel like
OST.
I don't want to get too off topic, but after reading Oshinoko, I feel like a Yuri on Ice stage play would be very fun to go to.
Ooh, yes, the revolving like theater thing that they have.
Yeah,
Oh, damn, you're tilling my senses. But not to get off topic, we're here to talk about JJK Zero.
100%.
Yeah, we're both pretty big fans. Jay is probably the biggest JJK fan that I know of. I think it's a fantastic show. It was my number 6 show of last year. So if that says anything, I'm not a manga reader just because of how much I thoroughly enjoy the anime, but I did read the Zero manga for this. Jay, on the other hand, is my superstar all-star, where I will be using him as reference points because I probably miss, a lot of the things that happened in it. So, Jay, I want to get your first impressions on the movie, the starting of Yuta, Aki, what am I saying? Yuta, and just I guess like the background of like what JJK is and like where we started from in the series.
Yeah, so JJK Zero was actually made before Gege Akutami, the mangaka behind it, knew that he was going to be serialized in Shonen Jump. It was originally just meant to be a one shot, and you can sort of tell that a bit in how the movie is structured. Um, some of the ideas that you might see in season one aren't necessarily present there in the prequel manga, except for one thing which I will discuss later. um, so what to say about this, honestly? Yuta is just such a different character than Yuji,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I appreciate it a lot. Like, I love Yuji a lot, but Yuta just he kind of hits that like Shinji vibe,
Okay,
which
I wanted to bring this up.
I mean, he's voiced by the same voice
That
actor as
makes
Shinji.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I came out of the theater. I'm like, did you get like Shinji vibes from Utah? And everyone's just like, No, not really. I'm like, wow, am I that far off? Okay, I'm glad
No,
I'm not the only one.
he's voiced by the same voice actor as Yuta
Yep,
or
Shinji.
Shinji.
Yep.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So we start off and we kind of just we got our boy Yuta in the same situation we started Yuji off with: secret execution. Gojo in the room with him. Cursed seals all over, that sort of thing. Um. Yuta is sort of like a baseline for Gojo of how he is going to treat his students like Yuji and Yuta going forward. Um, this arc is pretty important to his character overall, I would say. I would say that Gojo is like the second most developed character in by this. Um, besides Yuta himself, obviously. Uh, what did you like? What did How did you feel about the beginning with like them kind of just having just a cold open intro with him going to the school, not like not fully explaining
Yeah.
the situation beforehand.
You when
I
you
also forgot to mention the locker stuffing part. My
Oh,
bad on
oh
that.
yeah. I really liked how it started like that. When you brought up
Yeah,
one shot, it makes a lot of sense. I think like my biggest complaint with this movie is the pacing because I think over the span of this entire movie, I think it's about a calendar year, and
yeah,
there were just some parts where it felt like Utah was, we learned later like his powers, like he's a descendant of like a powerful sorcerer and stuff like that. So like it makes sense. Like in the context, it makes sense. But when we're like learning it for like the first time, there were issues where I felt like he was just like a bullied kid with like an insane power. And then all of a sudden he's like sparring with Maki and he's just like toe to toe with her. I'm like how did this come upon like so fast? And
yeah,
other that's like it's like very small because like it didn't really like negatively affect it too much because I thought a lot of the other aspects that I was watching was just so enjoyable. Like first
yeah,
impressions, Utah, um, not the state. I think I said that, but I just I like the characters like this where I can kind of see like he's kind of like the down in the dumps, getting bullied, picked on, and having being reserved in a sense where it's hard to open up, especially with the girl that he loved. I guess his adolescent love was killed before his eyes, and you can see kind of like how he's distancing himself. But it's not like
mm,
he's like this shut in neat loser, which I'm a big fan of. Like Utah has, especially with the help of Gojo, like breaking out of that shell, and I think like Maki is also a huge part of that as well with her character and just getting him out in the open. So I like the character structure of that. I like that
yeah.
aspect of it. But like really, I don't know if this is a hot take because it's not like it was bad, but I thought like this to me the movie's kind of broken up into two halves. We have like the beginning school training, and then we have like the
The,
showdown with Ghetto.
yeah, the night parade of 100 demons.
Yes, I thought the first half. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bored. I felt that I really liked the pacing more in the manga, where it didn't seem like because obviously you can read at your own pace and
Mhm.
you can get through the stuff that I found it's important, but to me it just felt like it was dragging a little bit. And then
Would you count the Maki and Inumaki missions as part of the first half or the second half?
the Maki for sure the first half. Yeah, I think like the Inumaki like that is like the end of the first. And
Okay.
then we kind of like cuz that's when like Utah like shifts gears in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
he takes it to the next level where he shows his skills. He's no longer needs to be babysit. I felt like at that point where he could kind of
Yeah,
take care of his own,
we have that whole moment of like him choosing not to let Inumaki just sacrifice himself for him and whatnot.
which
Yeah.
shout out to Inumaki. Didn't
Great
I felt like he
character.
didn't get enough screen time in season 1 and this just shows off so much of him. I Man, he might have been my favorite character in this movie. I had a great time watching
How do
him.
you feel about his design in this movie compared to his design in season 1?
I I'm
Like
trying to
the
think.
hair specifically, I suppose, because he has like the bowl cut in season 1 and it's more of like spiked, I guess, in
Yeah,
this, like blown back, I
I
suppose.
like movie more.
Yeah.
I think I like movie more, and we kind of got like a little bit of the backstory with his cursed speech. That it's like this
Hmm.
is like very rare. Like not many sorcerers. I think that they list like there's like 16 like what they like S class curses or something like that. I don't know how to
Yeah.
describe it, and like cursed speech is one of them. So I thought that was really cool that like I could get the power background a little bit of
Yeah.
Inumaki.
He's pretty interesting in general. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk without going into spoilers for other stuff is the thing. But
No, I get it.
I think he's ranked like number 5 or 6 or something on the popularity polls. Like he's pretty up there.
hmm
Yeah.
And my other complaint, my last like minor complaint with this movie, and I said this about Sword Art Online Progressive as well, that this kind of felt like the TV show playing on the theater screen in terms of the visualization. I think there's parts in the second half where it kind of blew me away that there was a lot of these Sakura moments are just like, oh shit, like now we're talking.
Yeah.
But I didn't really feel like out like there's aspects of like say what we say about Mugen Train. I think that there are aspects of the visualizations in that where it was a step above the TV show, and that's what I was getting. There were the first half of JJK Zero. I didn't really feel that, and I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, I guess, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
visually stunning
I get what
series.
you mean.
It's
I
just
just don't
yeah.
like I'm not trying to make excuses. Maybe I just don't expect like I don't expect the UFO-table level thing from anything but
Yeah.
like UFO-table or like maybe Kyoto animation, like MAPPA is great. Like they're very good. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
I don't expect that level of like visual like, you know, ecstasy that fucking UFO-table gives.
I guess to me it's not like the polish because like they like JJ or sorry, Demon Slayer and like Your Name, like they are like very
No,
polished, pretty looking.
it's like the high points more or less. Like
Yeah.
thinking about like the flames in Demon Slayer or like
Mhm.
just yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah,
It's like
I
the
wish we got
highs don't real like when it's at rest, they're comparable, but
mhm.
the high points of like your Fate or your Demon Slayer are a bit higher than
Yeah.
JJK or JJK 0. I
Yeah,
get what you mean.
I guess I was kind of hoping for like some of the moments we get in the second half, maybe have one in the first. I think one's kind of close, like when we see like Utah and when like Rika comes out for like the real first time to defeat the thing at the school. I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty cool, but like I wasn't like blown away. I feel like that could have been a moment where I could have been like, holy shit, because I got holy shit moments in the second half. And that's all.
Mhm.
Like it just I guess that would have kept my brain a little bit more stimulated in the first half because it's obviously slower, it's dialogue heavy, we're getting the backstories of people and stuff like that, and it makes sense. I just to me that's just kind of where like I like a spark or
Honestly,
something.
I think Mappa might have been like Gojo's not really in the first half. Save the animation budget for the second
Yeah.
half.
Yeah, I mean because when you get
Like,
when he does the eye thing, it's just like,
like
yeah.
whenever he's like,
Oh,
"I'm busy right now." Holy shit,
do
bro.
you remember that like I think there's like a Twitter post when the Batman came out and then when Catwoman appeared for on the screen and there's like a Twitter post that says like I heard a girl audibly like moan when she came on screen. I heard somebody moan when Gojo appeared for the first time. I'm just like, girl, please, like he's a 2D character, but she's like, oh, and it was like dead silence. Like everybody heard it, and everyone's like, I don't know. That shit was so funny. It's just like I don't know.
God, she
I
just
really
like me
want to.
for real.
Yeah, I was like, okay, girl, like I get you, like he's an attractive man, but when you gotta keep that to yourself when you're in a dead quiet theater.
That's
I,
awesome,
yeah, I was
honestly.
just like, it was great. Trying to think if we want to move on to like, because like the first half is like important, like it's part of the world building, it's part of the storytelling for it, but I think like the climax moments are towards the second half of the movie,
Do they
and
cover like how'd you feel about like Rika and Yuta's relationship in the first half. Like,
I mean, it's very anime-esque, like
yeah,
the promise trope of romance anime, when you're kids, like, if you're not 21, you'll marry me, right? That type of thing. And I'm kind of like numb to it, I guess, because I've seen it so much in anime, whether it's just like a pinky promise or in this case, it's like a ring. However, I loved how they implemented the ring to the power, which
yeah,
is very unique because it makes sense with how they can like you see it later with Utah with the sword, that they can like empower physical items with cursed energy. And so while the trope was silly, they kind of expanded on it, which I give it props for. And that's why like a lot of times when I see like simple basic tropes, it's whatever and like I'm fine with it. But when they do something like even something, this isn't like complex or anything, but it just that little bit of detail that like shows like, okay, like
yeah.
you're doing more with it. Like this isn't just to promise the whatever the marriage when they're older or something like that. Like it has meaning, it has use,
It
and with
becomes
the
like a symbol. Oh my god, somebody's fucking. Thank you. Holy shit, that scared me.
they loved
But
my take so much they're honking hard like yeah.
yeah, uh, yeah, it becomes kind of like a symbol of his strength, both metaphorically and literally.
Yes.
Whenever it's what he channels his power through, which
Mm-hmm.
he gets from you know his love for her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I gotta say, the fucking just the whole flashback scene with like her getting hit by the car and shit was just like, dang, dude. That sorry, Yuta. That's tough. That's a tough thing to go through.
I did
Oh,
like that Utah wasn't like this oblivious character either, where like in the hospital he's like, well maybe I cursed her, and then it comes back to show like no, he did do that. I thought that was kind of
hmm,
unique. I don't really see where like the main character is like right like that.
yeah,
And to make it so like there's a twist at the end. So it's like, nah, Utah figured it out. Like props to him, which is
yeah,
another reason why I mean, for as much as I love Yuji, I'm a big Yuta guy now. Like I'm a big fan.
yeah.
How did you feel about because it's not really shown in in the movie, but like the background of like Rika and Yuta and stuff like that, because you said something interesting before recording that I think is important.
Yeah, so in the a lot of the stuff, some of the not a lot of this added stuff, but specifically the hospital scene where they show the meeting is actually an added scene that wasn't in the original manga. It started off as a like an author's blurb on like a side page at the end of a chapter, just basically giving some information about Rika in general. And let me actually, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab my volume.
All right, while Jay goes and grabs his volume, we're going to do some, you know, dialogue dumping right now. If you like what me and Jay are saying, we have a Discord. We have a link to all of our social medias in the description below. And if you want, you can come join and talk anime with us, talk manga with us, talk TV shows, everything, sports, especially with March Madness right now. So if you go into the description below, you can find all of our links in the link tree. I just want to say thank you. I just got back from anime detour and met a lot of people. If you were there, hello. It's nice to see you in person, and it's nice to meet everybody that was at the convention. But just want to get that dump out of the way. Jay, take it from
Nice.
here.
Good timing. So Rika and Yuta met in a hospital whenever Yuta had pneumonia. That much is somewhat clear in the movie. He's like obviously walking around with a cough and everything, so you can assume he has some kind of respiratory illness. But they don't really go into why Rico was there. And the reason why Rico was there is because, to give some background, she essentially lived alone with her dad for a long time because her mother passed away suddenly at some point. But what happened to get her into the hospital was her and her dad went on like a camping trip, and she was found alone at their campsite, like covered in blood, with him nowhere to be found. And they also mention in that blurb that Rika's grandmother believes that Rika killed her parents. So kind of an interesting thing for them to like. I'm not sure if they wanted to leave that out just because they felt it wasn't really relevant, or if they're not wanting to go there with the character, but it's definitely an interesting like side addition to the character of Rico, who is definitely like the character in the movie we more or less know least about, obviously, because she dies like before it starts. So
Hmm. Yeah, that was very interesting because it kind of just like maybe was she even she might have been cursed like prior, like who knows, like I don't
mhm.
know, is it, I don't know if it's like in the JJK where you could have like multiple curses on one person at a time, but that would be like I don't know, because of like Utah and how I guess like his lineage,
Yeah.
if he has the power to like curse somebody who's also cursed already. So I don't know that power system. I don't know if that's ever explained in JJK. I don't know if that's spoilers or not, so I don't want to get into that. But kind of me theory crafting in my head a little bit.
We've been getting some elaboration on a few things that are talked about in the movie in the recent manga chapters. I won't go into detail about them because it's spoilers, obviously, like a lot. But y'all should read the JJK manga. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, like if we weren't getting a season two, I would like 1,000% it. But I just enjoy
I
the
I
anime
get
too
you.
much, and
Yeah,
I'm an anime first guy. I
for
think we
sure.
covered most of the first half.
Okay.
Um,
Oh,
I get
also, I kind of wanted to touch on your. Sorry to
no, go
interrupt
for
you.
it.
I kind of want to touch on your thing about Yuta's training arc and it being kind of sudden.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I think out of the three, or out of the people he's training with, I think the three he has are probably the best teachers out of all of the people at Jujutsu High. Because we see Panda and Maki both train Yuji in the first arc, right?
Yep.
And a little known thing about Inumaki is that in the fan book, he is given the highest like athletics rating apart from Maki and Yuji, two people who have supernatural strength. So I don't know, maybe it's just like, they train intensely every day and he has good teachers. And he's also a prodigy, as shown later on by some of the things he does.
A hundred
So
percent. It's like at the time, I'm like,
yeah,
this
I
is
definitely
like,
get what you mean.
but it's like, hey, your great grandpa was like one of the top three like sorcerers in Japan. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, like bloodline and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Just at the time, it was just like, huh? Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
no, I get it. It feels a little bit weird at the time, but with the logic that they give in the second half, I agree. It
yeah,
definitely explains it.
yeah.
That's
Uh, so I guess for me, when it started really picking up, was the Inumaki and Utah fight against, I guess Ghetto's little, was it like a level one curse that he controlled? And
yeah,
to me, I loved it for a few reasons. Uh, Inumaki sort of showing like I really liked like the senpai kohai hierarchy of like Japan, and like Inumaki like really stepping up, like showing that like I'm going to take care of like this guy. Like it's not his fault that he's here. This was supposed to be on me, so like don't die because of this situation. And I thought that was like really cool that he's just like, nah, I'm gonna take this L real quick. Like you do you, my man. Like, but then
mhm,
Utah's just like, nah, man, we're a team, and I just love that shit. I eat that shit up for breakfast. It was just
yeah.
it just shows like the purity of like these guys. It's like, yeah, they're fighting for the same cause. Yeah, we're both in a tricky situation, but like, let I don't know. It's not really like Deus Ex Machina of like let's work with the power of friendship and we can do it. It was like the strategy behind like what they were doing was just so cool. Plus, Inumaki's curse is just
It's
so
almost like a
godlike.
callback to the Aoi and Yuji fight against Hanami in the first. Just like honestly, it's one of those things where it just showcases that JJK is the best anime to watch if you want to watch people jump other people. That's pretty funny.
No, they definitely
Uh,
have that. How did you feel about that fight? Because
I loved it, honestly. I really liked the atmosphere in that scene too. Like the green coloring and lighting and everything
mhm,
was really like I liked the way they did the fish spirits at the beginning, like all
yeah,
swarming around and stuff. That was really cool, honestly. I liked it a lot too. And just like them getting there and then being like, "Where is he at?" Oh, he went shopping. Like that. Like I like him just like walking away while somebody is explaining stuff because he's like, I already know all of this shit, man. Like,
Hmm.
I'm the highest ranked person in our team, actually. I'm just gonna go get this done real quick.
Yep.
Yeah,
Uh,
I definitely enjoyed it a lot.
I thoroughly enjoyed it just because going back to the manga, you can tell that this was written. I don't know, maybe a few years before JJK got serialized because the art in Zero is just fine. Like to me, it's just like it was okay. Where it is now, it's like leaps and bounds of where it started, which is kind of cool to see. Like, especially if you ever read,
Yeah.
I'm a sick plug because my favorite thing of all time, Berserk. You can definitely see where where Miura started and then where Berserk got to. You could see that with JJK and Zero
Um,
was the first work,
yeah, a
and
similar
just
thing to Berserk is like Fruits Basket. It's when when you have Berserk in a conversation, you got to mention Fruits
I
Basket.
mean
You
they're
also see them develop. They're
two,
hand in hand.
two top tier romances. I get it, and we deal
Dude,
with like
yeah.
spirit animals and stuff like that. So I mean, they're
Well,
very
they have
similar.
damn.
But
Right.
I just thought they blew me away with this is where
I
they
agree.
stepped up.
Yeah.
You can
It's a
take
pretty clear difference, honestly.
yeah, you can take the slice of life elements that they have and the drama elements that they have in the beginning and animated whatever because it's not going to like it's not like the scenes that matter in terms of the animation. And this is where it started to pick up where I'm invested in what I'm visually seeing. I felt like the soundtrack started picking up. We didn't even touch on that. The soundtrack in this movie was I
Sound
loved
design in
it.
general,
I
like
loved it.
at the beginning, whenever Yuta first walks in the classroom
Mhm.
and like his foot touches down, the bass was so intense on that, my theater shook. Like,
Damn. It wasn't that hard for me, but I you could feel the ambiance of like what I was hearing and what I was feeling with the sound. And I thought the
yeah,
ED was great, but back to like the actual fight, it was just like everything I want. The impact was
agreed.
there, the characters were there, like how the fight was structured, I thought was just great. Everything about that, that's where it's like, yeah, this is kicking in the gear. This is what I'm here for. This is Jujutsu Kaisen. This is what I fell in love with. And
Mm,
then we start getting into the ghetto stuff like right afterwards because we kind of see him like hiding in the shadows in that fight and
yeah.
start developing like the main villain. How do you feel about Ghetto as like a villain antagonist character in JJK?
Dude, honestly, I'm hoping that this gets more people curious to either, watch the first season or even read the manga because he's a really well developed character even in just this, I feel like. The added scenes that they have with him, I feel really help flesh out his character, especially his relationship with Gojo. Um yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy him a whole lot and it's like, you know, I'm hoping people are wondering, huh, why is this guy in the first season,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I was a little confused by the ending, because like nobody like dies. It
Yeah.
seems like I was just like, all right, um,
Yeah.
but that's the
How are you feeling about Ghetto though? Like, did you? Because obviously, he's got his whole like calling humans monkeys thing, which is
yeah,
pretty like funny in a way, but also, yeah,
yeah. We have like the I don't know what would we call? He's not a racist. Like what is he?
he's like a jujitsu supremacist, is what I would.
Supremacist. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
like he
that.
is racist, but it's more like he just believes that like his I guess it's more of like classist, isn't it? Like he believes
Yeah,
his class
yeah.
of people are better than it doesn't matter any like an African sorcerer would still be superior to an African non or Japanese non sorcerer to him,
Yep.
I'm sure. Well, I mean, he does have Miguel on his team,
Yeah,
so yeah,
he has a Kenyan
literally,
on his team, which
yeah,
was cool. I don't know how not many anime like reference Africa, and so it's like, and the fact that we'll get to it at the end, but the fact that they are in Africa, I thought was super dope at the end. Um,
yeah. I would
Ghetto,
honestly love like a spin-off where we see like or even just like an information book where we see
mhm,
sorcerers from different parts of the world and how they do shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying in terms of like the JJK antagonist so far. I like him more than Mahito. I think I like he's pretty fleshed out. I'm a big fan of like his actual like power system of just like collecting curses
Hmm.
was unique, and I like that it's like in each different fight he kind of was like throwing out different ones and using them for like different use cases, like the four-winged pelican for like
Yeah.
transportation. Just like, yeah, he's using everything to his abilities. And so I like that. I want to see more. Him and Gojo are just like super gay for each other, so that was really fun. Um
Yeah. One thing
they
I didn't like was they changed a line with Gojo and Geto at the end. Was he says, or he gives Yuta his ID card back, and Gojo or Yuta is like, "Oh, you found my ID card," and Gojo goes, "No, I didn't find it. My best friend did. My only one." And in the manga originally, what he says, and it's just a translation thing, so I'm not docking points or anything, but in the manga he says, "My best friend did," and then he says, "My one and only," which is so much fucking gayer than saying "my only one."
yeah.
Like,
This reminds
yeah.
me of like the did you ever watch Neon Genesis?
Yeah, I've watched parts of it.
It's like the Shinji and Kaoru thing where it's just like
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just like, no, they're like super gay for each other, but then they changed the translations, especially like the Netflix sub. It's like,
Hmm.
no, we're friends. It's like, I mean, are you? Yeah, I guess in a way, but I think there's a little bit more motive to that. But I
Yeah,
because Gojo is very for how like flamboyant and extroverted it is. At the same time, he's like a very private and
yeah.
closed person, and to see like kind of like the background with him and Ghetto and who's the
Yeah,
third dude?
uh, Shoko, the doctor.
Yeah, the doctor, yeah. And kind of see
Yeah,
like their background where like they were
a
like
team like we got. Yeah.
yeah, like their classmates, like it's like how Maki, Inumaki, Panda, and Yuta are. It's like that was
Hmm.
them like what would that be? I don't know, like 10 years ago or something like that.
It's
And
almost like I hate to compare it because the motherfuckers always say it, but it's almost like Naruto where you see like Kakashi's team and stuff, and it's
yeah.
like, yeah,
I mean, I'm sure it draws influence from stuff like that. I mean,
100%. Yeah.
there's definitely team elements in JJK, especially in
Newsflash:
season one.
What? Shonen is taking from Shonen. More news at 8,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, and what and ice is cold.
yeah.
Yeah, I just I liked it. It was a nice fleshed out background. It definitely makes me. I think I want to know more about Gojo than Ghetto because it's like, is he closed off because of like what happened with him and Ghetto,
Hmm.
or was he
Like,
always like this? And it sounds like the next arc for JJK is a background for Gojo. So
yeah.
is that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Slight spoilers, but the next arc is going to give a lot more information about Gojo and Geto, and as well as the past of some other people we've met. So
Yeah,
should be pretty good. What did you think of their breakup scene?
it
I would
was
I would also like to say that people have tracked down exactly where they broke up, and it is in front of a KFC.
wow. That's that. I mean, props to whoever figured that out. Like that's
Yeah,
some
it's like
deter.
a big meme in the community, actually.
It's like if you take your girl to KFC, you know it's over type of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
literally.
yeah, it was. I would say it's fine. I guess I was more invested in like their background in terms of like being like a team and their friendship and stuff like that. Where I don't know how I feel about it because like I feel like if Ghetto died at the end, I feel like it would have more like impact. But he's not dead, and they're just like friends, kind of, but like enemy. I don't know. It reminds me just like there's just so many like different anime that I can think of where it's like the exact same trope. Another, but it's like Guts and Griffith to me. It's just like best
But
friend.
wait, you don't think he was dead at the end?
No, I don't think Ghetto's dead.
Uh, well, Gojo thinks he is dead, is what we
Yeah,
should say.
Gojo for sure thinks he's dead. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming it's because well, does he have the scar on his head in the movie? I'm trying to think.
No,
No.
he does
Okay.
not.
So like obviously then it's like Mojito
There's some shit
and
going on there. There's some
yeah,
like
because I mean he's like
it's sus. It's sus is what I'll say.
because he's like stitched up in season one, and
Yeah.
Mojito's stitched up. So like you know,
There's some stuff going on. It's kind of complicated and obviously spoiler talk, so I don't want to either wait for season 2 or read the manga, listeners.
okay.
Is all I'll say.
I'm just throwing out assumptions here because I've only seen the
Yeah, I
anime.
get. Yeah, I'm trying very hard not to like. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about the climax of the movie.
Well, let me ask
Oh,
you
okay.
before we move on.
Okay.
Sorry, what did you think specifically of the question? Are you the strong? Are you Gojo? Are you Satoru Gojo because you're the strongest, or are you the strongest because you're Satoru Gojo?
Oh, I didn't think that deep. Um,
Because that
man,
is something that in that line influences Gojo's psychology from the moment he hears it, more or less.
okay. Can I hear your thoughts on it? Because I think I'm pretty.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's Ghetto questioning, like, are you yourself because of your role? Like, did you earn your strength more or less, or
Hmm.
are you who you are because of your role in society? Like, are you Gojo because you're the hero of like you're the biggest hero in the world, or are you the biggest hero in the world because of the person you are? Like, are you just? It's him asking like, are you just doing? Are you playing the hero because of society, or are you playing hero because you genuinely want to help people?
Hmm.
That's like Geto's moment where he's basically saying, if you come with me, we can fucking just murder literally everybody. And don't get it twisted. In JJK, they do straight up state Gojo could kill everybody in his world if he wanted to by
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's shown pretty clear the power level of Gojo, and
yeah, he's way way further than even the like special grades. Um,
is there a classification for him?
he's special grade along with Yuta and Geto,
Okay.
and a fourth person we actually see in season 1, but most people probably missed it. Uh,
Ooh.
yeah, and
Ooh, spicy. Because I missed
mhm.
it.
I also really enjoyed them including like Gojo, like his POV where he's going like that. Sorry, very good audio content, but I'm
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
the
yeah.
hand sign Gojo makes. But like just him, you know, not wanting to kill his best friend despite thinking about the path he's going on. There's just Gojo and Geto's relationship is in my opinion, it's one of the better written parts of JJK. It's super tragic. Like, even if you don't look at it from a romantic lens, like, just losing somebody who knew you that well, who could relate to you on that level,
Man.
is a very tough thing. And it shows Gege's writing chops that he could do a fucking relationship that well. Shonen usually doesn't get like that.
Oh, for sure. God, I want you to read Berserk so bad because this is
It's like,
this is Guts and
yeah,
Griffith, like 100%.
okay. I
Like,
mean, hey man, we'll work on it. I just got to get one of the like physical volumes,
mhm,
Like I want those things directly behind your head.
yes. Okay, let's get to the climax because this is where
Oh
I
yeah.
felt like
I
this is
rambled long enough about gay shit. Let's
yeah,
go
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like this is where Mappa's like, yo, we got like 100 million yen. We're gonna use 75 million yen in these like
Hmm.
25 minutes. Let's fucking go. Because I thought it was just a pure,
Yes.
like, I was snorting lines. Somebody was like, I don't know, giving
It
me
was like
shots.
45 minutes of fan service,
Oh, it was
like
everything
just
I
back to
wanted.
back.
It was everything I wanted. I thought the setup was, I thought it was fun. I thought like the trap that Ghetto set was a little predictable, but I was too busy just like, let's fucking go. Like the clash. Like
Yeah, I don't
there,
know why they chose to just leave Yuta by himself.
yeah.
That was a weird choice, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, you think you just like, okay, hey, we're about to have this fight. We know the targets.
Mhm.
Utah, you stay at school. It's like, what? Put him on a
Well,
put him on a
I
flight to
guess it's
Iceland or
because
something.
they believe that because he mentions they still believe that he can't absorb bound curses
Okay.
because he said that whenever he was younger, so they wouldn't. Because it gets elaborated on later, but Geto never he never really had the trust that other people had for the Jujutsu Society, more or
Sure.
less. So it makes sense that he would kind of keep a trump card up his sleeve like that, I
Okay.
suppose.
I got
So them not knowing that, it kind of makes sense. I wish that they would have had like maybe one other person besides Maki there on guard duty, even like a mook or something like that. Like just some random. But I guess they kind of do show him like walking, like don't they show him like blowing people's heads up as he's walking towards the school or something like that?
yeah, he there's like guards or whatever, like
Yeah, so
uh
I guess they did have some just
it
faceless
yeah, they had
people there,
insert
but
bodyguard A and insert bodyguard B chilling at the
yeah.
front, and then just like they popped him like a zit.
Mhm.
Um
Yeah.
I kind of like the we got like the backstory on like the two girls a little bit, where like
Yeah.
how jujitsu sorcerers are kind of treated like elsewhere, which I thought was like a cool touch. Like, hey, the
Mhm.
North is like classist against jujitsu sorcerers and stuff like that, and you see that
I
like
will
get
say, for my anime onlys, this is a big part of Nobara's character because
which
she is from the same country area, a similar country area to where they are from,
yeah,
and her grandmother is also a sorcerer.
okay, that I mean that makes like a lot of sense. I want I don't want to ask that question. It might be a spoiler or something like that, but I'd really like to see like
DM it to me, and I will tell you if it is a spoiler or not.
okay,
Yeah.
we'll
I'll
get
keep
to I'll get to
talking
that
while you.
later. Oh, no,
Okay, that
you
works for
talk.
me. Fine.
No, you
Okay.
talk. You talk. You talk.
So yeah, we meet these girls, and essentially, like, they're being kept in a cage, more or less. And Geto finds them and just murders their whole village, and is like, "Yeah, you don't have to deal with that. People are fucked up." Uh, we get a little bit of background on we get a little bit of world building in that sense. Yeah, I would
Okay,
say, like, we get a bit of world building into how country jujitsu is different compared to city jujitsu. It's
gotcha.
like I said, a lot of it is related to Nobara's character.
Okay, I just it's just interesting because like you take stuff like My Hero, where if you have a quirk, like I guess in that sense, there's so many people with quirks, it's like whatever. Maybe like X-Men, where like it
Yeah.
seems like everybody hates mutants for like the most part. It's like
Hmm.
maybe not everybody, but like I'll say it's more that they don't like mutants than less. And then, but like in this area, it's like I kind of got the feeling where like it's like sorcery is like pretty like not frowned upon, but like in this specific area, like why is this specific area hate jujitsu sorcerers? Because I'm assuming it's something like I don't know. Maybe do I want to do a Twilight reference?
Well, keep in mind that they mentioned that people using like jujitsu improperly can curse other people. Like they
Yeah,
mentioned Inumaki had cursed other people by accident and stuff. So I assume it's probably superstition involving it's just like I mean it's like look at the Salem witch
that's
trials or
exactly
something
what I
like
was
that,
thinking. Yeah.
honestly. Like it's really just that sort of shit except instead of being mass hysteria, these people actually do have magical powers and
Yeah.
can like make you hang yourself in the case of this girl or some shit like
Wait,
that.
Jay, are you saying that witches aren't real?
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I'm not trying to get hexed by a portion of our audience.
Yo, shout out to all my wish listeners.
Yeah, it would be cool if it was. Like, yeah, I'm agnostic on it. Let's just say that.
How did you feel about like the setup for this fight and like just like I don't know, maybe like the tactics and stuff like that with everything that was set
I
up for
liked it a
this?
lot, honestly. Like, I liked seeing all the jujitsu sorcerers from Jujutsu High show up. Like, just seeing them all lined up, getting ready, and everything was super cool. Especially like the named characters, like how they would you know, they showed like Mei Mei on the roof with all the crows and stuff like that. They showed Kusakabe and Ino with the sword with like Ino is the guy with the
The
mask who was
mask,
like
yep.
punching shit. Kusakabe is the guy with the samurai sword. And
I like that guy. I wish we got some more screen time with that.
Kusakabe,
Yeah, Kusakabe. I wish we got a little bit more
um,
screen time with that
he
guy.
has a fucking volume cover for some reason. Like he has like one of the hardest volume covers in JJK for some reason. Uh,
'Cause
yeah,
I just like I like the I compare it to like Mob Psycho, where like you have during serious parts you still have you mix a little bit of the comedy, and
yeah,
Eno's like fucking up people, and then he kind of just like stops, and then the Kusakabe's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, keep going. I love stuff like that. That was like a hilarious
yeah.
like you could tell like like the dynamic between these two, like that
And him
this
being
dude's
like
the
a
hard
complete
ass.
fanboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked him. I love his Nanami fanboyism where he's like, why did they have to send Nanami to Kyoto? I'm going the fuck off right now.
Yeah.
Like, he was going to get to see me shine. Yeah. I liked that a lot. And honestly, I feel like the Kyoto portion of it kind of stole the show for me a little bit. Like,
Mm,
seeing them all work together. Like, I liked what was going on in the ground in Shinjuku, but like seeing like Nanami do the fucking five black flashes was insane.
mm-hmm.
Like seeing Toto show, I wanted them to do more with Toto, is what I'll say. Like it was still cool, but he didn't even like use his curse technique or anything, you know?
It was very brief. Yeah, like you saw Miwa do her sword thing, Mai shoot her gun, the robot with the laser beam, and then
Yeah.
Toto's just like, I gotta get back because my girl's gonna be on TV, and which was funny because
That was great though.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
that's Toto in a nutshell. But I mean,
it would have been cool to see him boogie
yeah,
woogie
like
with
just
like
say like
because they
boogie woogie and
specifically
then
mentioned
cut or something.
in the first season they specifically mentioned during that event that the only time he ever used his curse technique was at that event against a special grade curse spirit. So it's like you really just teased us so much there. And there was other stuff that they hinted at that I thought they might show, but it's fine. Like one of the characters that was mentioned is somebody who hasn't really been shown in the anime yet, so I don't really blame them for not animating him at the moment.
Okay.
How'd you feel about like the no names they had that were getting some like Sakuga moments and stuff too? Like just random people, you know, doing shit. It felt like to me like one of those things where people do like a I'm not saying this in a bad way necessarily, but like you know how like movies or something will do a Kickstarter and will be like pay this much to have your OC in the movie. It felt like whenever they have like the blonde guy who did like the UG style punch on the spear and it was like a whole Sakuga moment, I was like, why does this random get so much animation budget,
Yeah.
you know?
Now that you
And then I
put
think he gets eaten anyway.
I think it's one of those things where like you're way more invested than I am in JJK, and that's something that like stuck out to you, where
Probably,
me
yeah.
the casual JJK fan, where that didn't really stick with me in my head. I was more focused on like
It didn't bother me or anything really, but it was just something, yeah. I guess as like a hardcore fan, it's just something I noticed.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was more focused
Sorry.
on like I don't know, the swag of Miguel, like just
Yeah.
dripping. Like that boy's a walking shower with how hard he's dripping. And I just the setup and everything like that. And I also like the sisters where they like they like had everybody hung before
Hmm.
the other class show up. I was like, damn, like I was because like the whole time they're like kind of like she's like always on her phone and I want to go eat crepes and stuff like that. And like obviously those are the characters where like obviously they're messing with Ghetto, like they're on some next level shit. But like what is their
Right.
next level shit? And I was thinking like
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna use something with like her phone, and then you see that they have like 5 Jujutsu Kaisen sorcerers hung. I'm like, oh god, okay,
Well,
like
the other girl actually does use her phone for her curse technique. One of them
what
uses the
is it?
rope.
There's the
I
rope with the quiet girl, and then the
The quiet
Genki
girl
girl.
does use the rope, and then I believe that the like I think that the other girl, her ability is more or less like she can take a photo of you with her phone, and it like I think it like cuts off wherever like the edge of the photo will like cut you off
Oh,
wherever she takes a photo. Because if you
okay.
notice, whenever like whenever Ichiji tells them like Ijichi tells them, it's not too late to turn around and they're getting ready to fight. If you notice, the girl like handles her noose and the other one puts her phone and they have like
Mm-hmm.
the curse flash from her cell phone camera.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They get a little bit more character development later on too. So
Okay, cool. I hope those are maybe not reoccurring characters, but I hope they pop up again. Like,
they do pop. Yeah, they're minor, but they do pop up again.
yeah, I thought they played that role of minor threat pretty well.
Yeah, I
Uh,
liked honestly all of his family was pretty cool. I wish we would have seen more of like heart nipple pasties guy or something like that,
oh yeah, the clown looking dude. He didn't really.
Yeah.
You see him in like,
Like at the meeting,
yeah,
that's
the
about it
meeting, and then
really.
is he
And they
involved in
also
the
had like a
fight?
he's there, but he doesn't do anything. Like
Okay,
they
that's
also
what I
had like the
thought.
guy with like the beanie and the scar on his eye and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, why do you have hearts on your nipples? That's a great question.
There are children around.
Oh, that's okay. I got a story out for not the podcast about that, but
Nice.
um,
Um
I mean the Sakura moments that we got with like not ghetto, Gojo just like
boxing that dude.
nine hit comboing like just like
They were playing Tekken at one point,
yeah.
basically, dude.
That was just I love those moments where like this
Yeah.
is so fleshed out, this is so well animated, directed.
Also,
The impacts of the punches were just like, oh my god, like I could feel it in my chest. I
yeah. It
huge
was the same
fan.
thing with whenever like Panda busts through the fucking wall
Wall,
against
yeah,
Ghetto and like his eye is glowing red and stuff. That was so sick.
yeah.
Like, yeah. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Like the I definitely agree with you on the second half of the movie overall being better. I liked some of the I liked the first half quite a bit just from characterization standpoint, but the meat of it is definitely the Night Parade of 100 Demons. I
Which is
agree with
just
that.
what a great like arc title. It's
Yeah. I mean, it's actually based off of an like a Japanese folklore.
that makes sense. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
The guy that Yuta is related to is like a real real ghost in Japan.
Hmm.
Like there are actually three great like vengeful spirits in Japan that you can look up, and they're a basis of jujitsu in that world too.
Didn't one of the rocks just crack and there's one of those spirits is supposed to like be released
I
to the
think
world
the
now or
one that
something?
got released was actually the one he summoned in the at the end, but I could be wrong.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So maybe Ghetto is doing some shit IRL,
Let me
Never
ask you
say
this question. When you first read JJK Zero, did you think that Yuta was going to die?
that. Honestly, no.
Is it because it's shonen, or did you have other reasons?
Partially because it's shonen, and I just felt like I don't know, like probably just would have been a waste of his character to kill him off. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
story wise, he's got a lot of character development to go through still.
I see because I watched season one, and he's not the main character, and
You
then
thought he was gonna die?
100%. I
You know
especially
he's in the you know he shows up in the second OP in Africa, right?
I do now.
Yeah,
Um,
like they show him in the second OP, like in Africa.
okay.
Yeah.
Missed that. That's why you are here. Thank you for being my resource. I guess going maybe I don't know. I was 8 beers deep.
Would you have preferred for him to die?
No, because there's Utah is going to be the character when he shows up on screen, whether it's season two
Everybody's
or
gonna
season.
lose their
I'm
shit.
going to nut so hard. I I had I had so many
You and me both.
expectations. I had
You and me
so many
both, buddy.
expectations for Utah, where I thought his character was going to go one way. It goes the other, and I'm like, I like that way more than what I was thinking. And I think that happened
Hmm.
like two or three times at the end, where it was him figuring out that he cursed Rika. I I feel like I'm like over exaggerating that maybe a little bit, but to me, I thought that like just
No,
that just stuck.
it's definitely meant to be like a like it's like a damn moment for
Yeah.
sure. I
Like
feel like
I like when the characters can be strong and smart and stuff like, and he kind
hmm
of gets that vibe. Like Gojo gets that vibe from me as well. Uh, and the Rika moment where he's crying, he's just like, I gotta go. Like I made the promise, and then there's like, nah, dude, like you're fine. It's like
yeah.
he's just like, oh no, the girl I love is dead, but it makes sense. And then he's just like,
I
oh
assume
shit,
he's probably mourned her for a long time at this point, you
yeah,
know, like he's had his it's been like what, three
six.
or
I think
it's
it
been
was
like 6 years,
6
yeah.
years.
So he's been living with this and he's had his time to like mourn who she was and such, I
Yeah.
assume.
And I like
Um
the like the release of like her leaving her like cursed spirit and like moving on
yeah,
was really well done. I really enjoyed how that was just put together, and it just made me like appreciate Utah more, where he's the good
yeah.
guy, but I don't know. It didn't feel like cookie cutter. It didn't feel generic. It didn't feel, I mean,
He's a good guy, but based on what he did, he can get shit done as
yeah.
well, and I appreciate that. I also really liked his moments of tenderness with Rika, like whenever she got had her jealousy moment with Maki, you know, and
Mhm.
he's like, "No, treat her more delicate than you would a flower or a butterfly," and
Yeah.
she's like saying like, "Please don't hate me," and he's like, "I don't hate you."
Yeah,
Like,
cause she got jealous. Then it's like, don't no, she's one of the good ones, and then she's like, oh, I fucked up.
she's the only reason I'm alive right now,
Mm-hmm.
literally. Like, yeah. I thought that was really sweet. I like like even though it's obviously a bit weird, it's meant to be weird because of the situation and everything. I really like him and Rika's relationship. Um yeah. How do you feel about do you see anything romantic between Yuta and Maki?
No, I really hope it's not, because it did seem a little forced with Panda, and obviously
Yeah,
it's like, well, I guess probably in the sense of storytelling, the Toto would be a callback to Panda, and like, hey, do you like small boobs or big boobs? Like, we got that
mhm.
joke in again, and I forgot. I think that was in, I'm trying to remember if I read that in Zero, the manga.
It was in the prequel too,
Okay,
yeah.
so that's a,
Or the
so
manga.
in the then season one, that's a callback to this.
Mhm.
I I mean, they have like the conflicting personalities, so like opposites attract type of thing, where I can kind of see it, but
I like them better as just like good friends, honestly. Like,
yeah, like like butting head best friends is kind of like the vibe I hope that they get, where they spar, they beat the shit out of each other, they argue, but like when it's actually like crunch time, like they got each other's back. That's kind of like the vibe I'm
100%.
hoping for, and
Yeah.
I hope that's the case going forward. Man, I mean, it would be cool to see like a dash of romance, just because I'm a huge like romance snob in something like this. Whether it's like, I don't know, like Yuji and Nobara or something like that, where if or I know like Biwa is like obsessed with Gojo, but like that's never gonna happen. But
Can I give you like a little breadcrumb?
yes, please, I'm hungry.
Um, Before the next arc, there is probably going to be at least one little bit of romantic comedy
Yay!
based around Yuji specifically. So,
That is what we're talking about. Now
and
we're
what I will
eating.
also say is it does not involve any of his teammates or anybody you have met before, which is
Ooh,
nice.
okay. I'm a huge Nobara.
It's not forcing the romance onto like
Okay,
Nobara or anything. So,
I'm a big Nobara fan, so if, and Yuji seems like a
yeah.
nice guy, so I ship him. But
Dude, Nobara and Maki is the way, is the issue
oh, is
here.
that the
Like,
ship? Is that the ship?
it's one of them. It's one of them. I like it, but yeah, I don't. There's not really a lot of romance in JJK, so I feel like
Nah.
it's pretty freeform compared to other things that kind of cram the romance in
Yep.
there. Like
Agreed.
not having the romance gives the fan base the freedom to just like do whatever and not
Hmm.
be like shitheads about it.
Okay. So
Even though they, yeah.
we got those moments out of the way. I thought the fight with Utah and Ghetto was really well done. There's
hmm
one there's one thing though that was kind of like viewing it from like a technical point, where they're fighting, and Ghetto uses like a snake curse, and it's like He like shoots snakes at them, and it's so obvious CG compared to the other CG, where it stood out to me. Where I'm like, why is this low budget compared to everything else that's happening in it?
Dude, I honestly didn't even notice it. Like,
Yeah,
I kind of want to go back and see that just because I'm sure it probably was obvious, but I was just drunk off the hype at that point. Like,
because like there's so much CG in this, but it like meshes
it's
with
good CG. Like
yeah,
all the curse effect they use is like
yeah.
CG and stuff,
But
you
for
know.
like this one specific curse, it's just it looks like some
I
like
don't.
I don't know, like a little low budget. I'm like,
That's so weird.
yeah, it was really random. It kind of threw me off, but like it didn't like affect like the fight at all or anything like that.
Mappa and random CG. Name a better duo.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. Like, did you freelance this one specific scene? Like, I don't know.
Honestly, there's a strong possibility that they freelance that because Mappa does use a ton of
Oh yeah, all
freelancers.
studios do, but it just
But
like
Mappa
it
in
stood out.
particular,
Yeah,
even, yeah.
it
I
just
get
stood
you.
out where it was like, why is what? Okay, and then I'm like, it lasts like 4 seconds, and then it's back to like the high quality stuff. I'm like, all right, like that's fine. It's just it kind of came out of nowhere where
Yeah.
uh
I didn't even notice that. That's so weird because normally I notice pretty jarring CGI. I must have just, like, honestly, I probably was just, like,
I
drunk
wouldn't
off
say
the hype at that
jarring.
point.
I would just say out of place.
Gotcha. Like, not, it's not like, yeah.
If it was like a
Yeah.
mid-budget show, you probably wouldn't even notice it. But because this is higher quality and everything
Hmm.
around it's like nice, and then this like one snake is just like, huh? That's all. That's all I got from it. But how did you feel about like the impact of the end? I know we touched about it earlier, but you know, Utah wins. He loses Rika, which maybe is a good thing. And then we kind of see the goodbye with Gojo and Geto. How do you feel about all that like impact?
I liked it a lot, honestly. I felt like they did the ending really well. They really didn't miss anything in the ending from what I can tell, besides for that small translation issue I had.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, another thing. The thing that I mentioned earlier about something that they did have thought up in Volume Zero that they added on. Yuta punched the last I like this moment a lot where Yuta is fighting Geto with his katana and he overcharges it with cursed energy to where it shatters.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that Gojo had warned him about earlier. And Geto literally goes, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. If you put too much cursed energy into something, into the vessel, it'll break." Just didn't Gojo tell you, or didn't Satoru tell you that? And he says just a little bit, and then Yuta just gives like the most satisfying fucking punch in the face to Geto. Sends him like does like the whole anime like
Yep.
spinning on the ground sort of shit. And for some reason they decided to make this a Black Flash in the movie. And it wasn't let me just make sure real quick. Let me just real quick look through this cuz I'm 99% sure. Yeah, no. Like I don't know, man. It's it's a weird thing to include, I feel. It's not because it is they put so much hype behind it in the first season that this is something that it's like feeling the core of cursed energy. Like it's getting in touch with the essence of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I don't think Yuta is capable of that. We see him doing more complicated things in the series, like he heals all of his friends, which
Yeah.
is reverse curse technique,
Yep.
which is considered an insanely powerful ability to be able to heal other people with it. That's why the doctor is so strong because she's naturally gifted at it, Shoko. Um so it's not really like a weird thing. I like it's not a negative thing. It's not something that I think it's out of character or against the fiction, I should say, for you to be able to do a Black Flash. I don't know. It seemed like a kind of odd decision. I'm assuming Gege signed off on it, so it's fine, but I don't know, man. That's one thing that I'm not sure. I would like if other people who were kind of more into JJK have
Mhm.
comments about that. If you want to like either leave comments on this or hop in the Discord and let me know what you think, because I'm really curious to know what other people who are more into it think.
I wonder if it's one of those things that like he wrote it as one thing, and then after like writing the story, he kind of wanted to like go back and
Yeah,
change it, type of
yeah,
thing. Because that definitely
that definitely
happens.
could be it. Because I wonder if they'll re-release this after the movie and kind of like color it in or something to
Oh.
make, because they have done volume like touch-ups
Hmm.
and re-releases of JJK volumes where they add like detail and stuff like that.
And then
Uh,
the goodbye between uh Geto and Gojo.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of how I feel about that, because I guess I don't know. It's like one of the things that I don't like about Shonen is just like nobody dies, and
Hmm.
this is just like a clear moment where somebody should be like written out of the story. I felt like, because you
All I
know,
gotta say is, uh, read on or watch
yeah,
on. Like, it might not. Think of it as like a hook, more
yeah.
or less. Like,
No, I get it. And it's like something like Chainsaw Man, where I
they
have
need to have like a good reason for
yes,
why, more or
yes, where it's like
less. Yeah.
right now I don't like it, but if I get more content, I could be like I could obviously change my opinion on it. That's kind of where I'm sitting at. It's like
Yeah.
I just need more context to like have a better feel.
I think your opinion will change.
Okay, okay. That's it's not like I would
Yeah.
hate it if it's never explained. But if it's
Yeah.
explained, I don't know, in 100 chapters, then that's fine. Like, no worries. Like, I
Yeah.
get it. And the last thing I want to talk about before we get to like ratings and final thoughts and everything like that, can you please explain to me the after credits?
Okay.
Why is Utah in Kenya chilling with Miguel, and what is Gojo doing there? Because to me, I was just like, I literally saw the clip and I was like, what?
So you remember how Gojo in season one went off on like a trip overseas and came back with souvenirs?
Yes.
That's where he went.
Okay. Why is Utah
As
hanging with Miguel?
it kind of gets explained in like a blurb at the end. But like, so I'm gonna just read it. I'll show you this at the end. So they have Miguel at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it says, those who have read volumes 1 and 2 might have noticed that the MVP of the Night Parade of 100 Demons is Miguel. And then it's him saying, good job, me. I did well. And then it has like a little chibi version of Gojo in the background. It says, shortly thereafter, Miguel was thrust into a life of difficulty. So basically, Gojo hunted this man down and was like, I need you to train Yuta for me. Like, I got to take care of other people. Can you handle him for me?
Oh, so they just like he just like lets it slide, like the whole that whole like fight sequence with him, just like no hard feelings. Could you train my pupil? That kind of like the context of it. Then am I
Yeah, I
getting that
mean,
right?
the thing about it is that they were like a religious family sort of deal. So with their leader, with Gojo believing their leader is dead, he doesn't, and I'm pretty sure that they think he's dead too.
Yeah.
Uh, he has no reason not to trust Miguel is the thing, and also, Yuta is strong enough to where he could take him on if it came down to it. So
Okay, okay.
yeah,
That makes way more sense. I was just a little confused, but I was also, I was
he
eight.
also doesn't seem like that bad of a guy apart from
Nah, he
just
does
being
it.
hanging out with
No,
Ghetto.
yeah,
Honestly, like.
no, for sure. And I was 8 beers in, so my mind's were elsewhere. So
Whatever Yuta was eating at the end, I want that shit
hell yeah.
badly. It looked
Oh,
tasty as fuck.
yummy, yummy.
Yeah.
I think we covered the movie. I think we should get into our final thoughts. I want you to go last, because
Okay.
I want to
Yeah, I'm
hear.
actually really curious to hear your final thoughts first.
Okay, we didn't touch on this either, but I thought I do like the mix of comedy that they do in this show, but how they handled it in the first half was way too many, like the pause and then let's do some comedy elements. There's like a scene where like in the classroom where like Gojo didn't explain to the students like who Utah was, and they kind of just like, you didn't tell him that, and then Gojo's like, doink, I forgot, like that type of comedy. They do that like 4 times in the first half, and to me that was
Hmm.
just like a little bit too much, where I didn't it just didn't work. It was like the same joke over and over and over again. So I had some issues with that in the first half, and the pacing in the first half was a little slow. I was a little bored at some point. I understand like it's needed for the background, but I felt like they could have done some things where either like cutting it or um just changing some things around. I felt like it could have been handled better. But then again, it's like early
Yeah,
work and they're adapting it from the manga, so it's not like
yeah,
too big of a critic. It's just something where I've seen other movies handle it
yeah.
better, I
I mean,
guess.
whenever I go into shonen, for the most part, I don't really expect like comedic genius, I
Yeah.
feel, you know? But I can agree with that. I thought the panda scene was pretty funny, like with him asking, like with him getting the, eureka moment where he's like, Yuta, come here
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny in general. Obviously, the Toto stuff was really funny with him talking about how Tomoko-chan was going to be on for Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
Like, they had some good moments, but I agree. Like,
That see that was fine because it's not like it was like dialogue, whatever, comedy scene, and then they
mhm.
continued on. The issue I had in
It's not
the first
holding up
half,
the scene to tell a joke.
yeah, it
Yeah.
really wasn't, and they did it like back to back to back to back to back. Maybe not that many times, but it was a
I
consecutive,
think
kind of like the same
maybe
joke.
Gege was trying to like lighten the
A
like it
hundred
was kind of
percent,
like a
a
lighten
hundred
the mood
percent.
moment because he just showed four people getting crammed into a locker and a
Mm-hmm.
young girl getting ran over by a car.
Yeah. Also, those four guys in the locker. I don't know how they didn't die. I feel like he was
They
suffocated.
did.
No, they didn't.
They didn't?
No, they said that it says that they were gravely injured, but they state
Doesn't
that
gravely injured mean
they
dead?
state that the four dudes don't die in the movie. Yeah, they
Huh.
definitely say that they don't die. 'Cause I feel like Utah probably would have went to prison or something. I don't know. Back to my final thoughts.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
the second half
Damn. I
was
definitely thought they just fucking died.
I
But
see.
okay.
I feel like a lot of people did too, but I remember.
Because
I
they
think
showed all the blood. They
they
showed
like,
all the blood coming out
and they,
of
but
it,
they
and it
like
was like,
they explicitly stated like in the second half somewhere that like he's never like killed somebody before, or like Rika's never killed somebody before. This like the four dudes that were he got bullied from were just gravely injured, and so it's just like, oh, they got stuffed into a locker and lived. Okay, like whatever, it's
yeah, it
fine.
does just say severe injuries
Yeah.
in the manga too. So,
Mm.
huh.
Yeah.
That is honestly, they definitely should be dead.
Yeah, they should be super dead. The second half of the movie is everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed seeing Utah step up to like the main character status that he is. It makes me appreciate him so much more. Makes me want to. I mean, like for me, would I think if Utah shows up again, it's going to be like must watch for me. Where JJK goes from incredible shonen to like next gen god tier shonen. Like I think it has the cast and characters to do that, and with more content, I think it can elevate to that level. So the second half
Yeah.
of Zero is just this is like what I love about JJK. It doesn't feel cookie cutter. It doesn't feel bland. It didn't feel predictable or formulaic. Other than like the good guy winning, sure, that's fine. That's what happens in a lot of stories, but other than that, just how they emphasize the power like system that they use, but also give me the background on how everything worked and how his training was a little fast paced. But like I get it because they gave me context of his bloodline being like
Yeah.
the three highest. Like it makes sense in the context. So I'm glad that
Hmm.
they threw those little snippets in. That way I can understand the context more. That being said, I thoroughly enjoyed JJK Zero. It was a blast. I had so much fun at the movie theater. If I had to give this a rating out of 10, I would say it's a very solid 8 out of 10. I had a great time. I liked it a little less than the series, but it's what I expected from like a prequel. I don't think I expected like a prequel to like blow my mind, but it gave me the context of me wanting more from what we're seeing in the
Yeah.
continuing season. So I think it's a solid 8.
Yeah. I agree with like most of what you said, honestly. Obviously, I hope our listeners could tell by now, but I am a huge JJK homer. Uh, if Johnny wasn't taking up that ye old Gojo fan art spot in the banner, that would be me right there. Because I actually read the shit. But
Well, he's
whatever,
he's
it's
not he's
fine.
not Gojo. You can be Gojo for the next
Oh,
one.
is
No,
Is he
he's
Yuta?
the
Oh, he's
wolf.
Megami.
He's
He's
Wolf Boy.
Megami.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh, I love you, by the way, Johnny. If you listen to this, I don't think you listen to
Nah,
these
I don't
though.
think he
But
does.
um, yeah. But to my actual review, I really enjoyed it. It was a great like they adapted it really well. Apart from like I said, like the three very minor adaptation changes I had, and one of them is like translation stuff. So who knows what is the actual words for it? Um, I agree the first half could have been done a bit better. It was a tad slow. I thought that I'm honestly not going to really talk much about the first half, I feel, because it really was adapted pretty one to one from the manga,
Hmm.
I feel. Um, The second half, I wish that we would have gotten. I kind of wanted them to like speed up the first half a little bit more so we could stretch out some parts of the second half a bit more. Like I said, getting like seeing Toto boogie woogie would have been fucking sick.
Yeah,
To see him boogie woogie that massive creature that showed up, that kaiju more or less.
yeah. That Nanami smokes.
Um, Honestly, they also mentioned that Yuta took place in like the games that his year two and like took out everybody during the fighting part. So that would have been kind of sick to see as well. Um I don't know, like most of my wishes for it are just it's like more bonus content more or less, which
Yeah,
says a lot, you know?
yeah,
Like they already added quite a bit of pretty solid stuff, especially like the Rika and Yuta background story. It was nice to see that animated. I agree that whenever you if we see Yuta again in the series, it's gonna be super hype. I feel like people are going to be debating Yuta versus Yuji for a while.
yeah.
Even though two kings should be able to live in peace.
Hey, if
Um,
Boji and Daida can, like, come on, man.
exactly, literally. Um, I really enjoyed it. Uh, it was great to see Gojo and Geto animated like that. I was shocked they added the breakup scene, but it was pretty well done. But like you said, I can't like I'm a homer, but I'm not gonna give it a 10 because it like you said, it didn't really blow my mind entirely. I was very satisfied, but it didn't explode my head like I kind of I had hyped myself up to be for better or for worse just
I think I
because
did
of how
too.
I am.
I think I did too.
So, I think for my final score, I am going to go ahead and give it a 9 out of 10.
I think that's respectable. It's at like an 8.6 on Mal, so even us out, we're right there. And I think that's like
Yeah.
you gave season 1 a 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I gave it a 9. So that kind of makes sense of like our scoring system. So
Yeah.
I get it. It's
They
it's
could have
like
done a bit better,
yeah, it's
but it was still good.
I would recommend this to anybody who like who is a fan of this. Like there in no way was this like an
Honestly, I would recommend to
atrocity.
people who haven't seen JJK. I feel like you could watch this without watching JJK and still
The the
have a
only
good
thing
time.
because there was I went with a buddy of mine who has this is his first time seeing JJK. He never saw the
Okay.
series. And when the scene where like the other class shows up with like Toto and them, the
Yeah, that's gonna be lost because it's like, who
yeah,
the fuck are these
like
people?
the audience gasped and like cheered, and he's just like looking around like should I like did I miss something? I'm like no, it's from
That's
season
fair.
one.
There is a lot of honestly, there is a lot of fan service. Maybe, yeah. I would say probably watch the first season before if you're gonna. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. When you
I
put it when you put it like that, because I'm definitely looking at it from somebody who like I know all these characters by
mhm.
name and like what their favorite food is and shit like that. You
Yeah,
know.
I think I would definitely lean season one, and then if that sticks with you, because I can honestly see
Yeah.
people watching like the prequel and be like, that was fine, and like not wanting to get invested into the show. Where I think we're both in agreement that the series is like maybe just like one step above this.
Yeah.
Where I think that's where it hooks people is the
Yeah.
series itself, and then coming back and revisiting more content is something that I prefer doing. But I
Hmm.
mean, to each their own. However
I
you,
would like to see them do like another movie for sure. I feel like they probably will, but I'm not sure what arc they would go for it with, honestly.
how long is the
Because I
Shibuya arc?
It's pretty long.
Okay.
Like, um, I don't know. How do you feel like kind of we can talk about this off pod if you want, but I'm kind of
I'm
curious
cool.
like how do you feel about the new sort of trend in animating arcs as movies instead of having like filler movies?
I'm a huge fan of the experience of going to theaters. So and if it guarantees more content, I'm always for it. Especially, I mean, I would really like it if the animators got paid more when Demon Slayer makes
Yeah.
$500 million. Like, hey, how about you pay your animators a living salary? That would be nice to see if that can kind of like because it's changing the landscape. Like how anime started was to be a advertisement for the manga, and now that's not the case anymore. And now we're
Hmm.
seeing ever since Mugen Train came out, it literally changed the landscape,
It shifted the entire
the
landscape,
entire
yeah.
landscape. We're only going to get more movies, and I hope that leads to higher wages because, like, if you pay your workers more money, they work
You're gonna get
harder.
better quality,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like proven like over countless studies. So it's like I just hope that we can get like more content for not even big shows like JJK, but even other shows that maybe not as popular. I mentioned Shirobako earlier. I mean, that's a show about making anime that got a movie. Violet Evergarden got a movie. Konosuba gets a movie.
Give me
And
that Isaac movie.
oh my god, that would be so. Oh,
It'd be
that would
perfect.
be
It would be
perfect for a movie
perfect.
theater.
Yeah.
If it can guarantee more content, I'm all for it. I know a lot of people don't like it. One of my buddies put up like a poll, like yes or no, do you like this? And he had like 100 votes, and it was exactly 50-50. So
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah, so it's like I understand the other side of it. Like I think a lot of anime viewers just enjoy watching it on their couch and stuff
Hmm.
like that.
I
Where
definitely do.
but someone like me, like if I can go every 6 weeks, 2 months to an anime movie or something like that, I would love it. I would love it so
Yeah.
much. But
Yeah.
I'm not everybody's like that. So
I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword too, a little bit, because on the one hand, you do get, you know, great budget and great visuals in these movies, but I don't want every anime studio to save like every good arc to be like animated because while animation is great, like while movies are great, I also like having like the pacing of things stretched out in those like, however many
mm,
episodes. Yeah. It's definitely
the
going to be a fine balancing act, and I feel like we're probably going to see somebody fuck it up soon and have like a terribly paced
yeah.
movie arc.
Thank God, like the Seven Deadly Sins movie was like a Netflix exclusive because if I went and saw that in a movie, that would ruin my movie going experience. So it's like
Oh
if the
Jesus.
quality is there, it's fine. It's like yes,
Hmm.
I don't know if it's a ticking time bomb waiting to happen where we don't get this major dud. It kind of just like not going to happen again. But I don't know.
I
I'm just
guess
intrigued. Like
only time will tell. Yeah.
yeah, I mean like we're getting like the Fruits Basket movie that's coming up. I'm hoping that's like a theatrical release. I'm
I think
assuming
that
that
came out in Japan
in
already.
Japan, yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
Western.
Yeah.
I'm assuming like
I definitely want to go see that
Attack on
too.
Titan is going to be a movie.
Again, the
That's going to make eight
Odd
trillion
Taxi
dollars.
movie too.
Odd Taxi. I feel like that's not going to be theatrical though, just
Oh,
because
okay.
it's like
It's a
85% of the same story just in movie form
well,
or whatever.
the Fruits Basket movie is a retelling too.
It's a prequel.
No,
Yeah, the
it has prequel and epilogue stuff added, but it's actually a retelling of the main story.
no, it's about her. It's about Toru's mom and
Are
dad.
you sure?
Yeah. It's about her parents. Yeah. The Fruits Basket movie is definitely about Toru's parents and how they meet and then how they have Toru and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I think they might have released a recap movie too,
There might
though.
be a
Some
recap
shit.
movie. Like it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, the
Damn.
movie
Okay,
the
that's a lot better. Because I remember I got really excited to hear about that, but yeah.
yeah, the movie is literally
Oh,
called
okay.
Fruits Basket Prelude, so I hope it's not a retelling. What?
Based
Oh,
upon Natsuki's Fruits Basket manga series, it is centered on Toru Honda's parents, accompanied by a digest episode of the anime series narrated by Kyo, and a brand
oh.
new story about Toru and Kyo.
You know what? I think I based it off of like the PVs and
No, I don't blame you because that poster they released was incredible. Like with
yeah,
them in the
the
at the
footsteps and
beach in the
the beach.
footsteps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Well, we're ranting
We
now,
are
but
ranting.
I enjoyed JJK Zero was great. Go see
Really,
that
really,
movie,
really good.
guys. Like,
I love doing these bonus episodes. We did the last one was SAO Progressive. So if you've seen that
yeah,
movie and haven't seen a review, go check that out. I'm looking forward to doing more.
Quince one is gonna be fun.
Oh, the Quince movie. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, we're definitely getting Miles on that since he's read all of the manga, I think like twice.
Pat'll
Um,
probably get in on that too, won't he?
I think
Doesn't Pat like Quince?
Pat likes Quince for sure. I think
Yeah.
that's going to be a rumble because yeah, for
Okay.
reasons I'm not going
Okay,
to say.
we can talk about it off camera.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. If you want to support the podcast, the best way to do so is like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are listening/watching us on. If you want to hear me, or if you want to see me and Jay's beautiful face, and you're not watching us on YouTube, we have a YouTube. If you're sick of seeing me and Jay's face, we have audio only versions wherever podcasts are available. Um, Tomorrow we have another episode dropping of Bunny Girl Senpai and the movie, and then after that we get our April Fool's episode, which I cannot wait. I can't wait to. That one's gonna be a blast. I'm not spoiling yet what we're doing for
So
April
much fun with
Fool's,
that.
but it's gonna be a good time. So check us out when that happens. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.